The Fed is sharply increasing the amount of help it is providing to the financial system. What does that really mean? That means that the banks are broke. They're not liquid. They made all-time high profits. They sucked up all the equity, in a sense, if I can simply put, paid out bonuses, paid out the CEOs, but they're dry. They don't got no money for the everyday operation or the people that actually put their money into the banks, into the savings, into the CDs, etc. That's what that shit means. Now, one thing I want to point out is right here where it says the Fed was bailing out every day $75 billion, okay, in an operation called the REPO. What that is, bank-to-bank run happened. Again, simply put, bank-to-bank run happens where a bank wouldn't lend to each other, okay? Now, the Fed stepped in. They start putting $75 billion a day. It went for 1 week, 2 weeks, and it's continued going. But it hasn't solved the problem. So now the Fed is going to double that. Now instead of it's 175, they're going to go to $120 billion a day. They're just giving this money away to the banks, guys. Okay. Now, why are they giving $120 billion a day and the problem doesn't solve it? Well, a couple of months ago, I did a video for you and I showed you a visual presentation of the total amount of money in the world, the total amount of the richest corporations in the world, the amount of Bitcoin, and then the amount of gold. And then the crazy thing is the amount of derivatives, which suppressed all the other assets out there, gold, cash, real estate, so on and so on. That's why the beast has been awakened and they're feeding it 120 billion a day. We can't even comprehend that. And the problem's not being solved day after day, week after weeks. And now it's going to weeks and weeks and weeks, okay? Why is this? Why do they not tell us who are the banks they're, suffering because we have our money into these banks, right? Not me, but majority of people do in America, right? So that is some crazy shit, guys. That is some crazy shit. Now, if you look at the stock market, ladies and gentlemen, let's pull up the stock market real quick. You're seeing very little amount of negative movement. Actually, for days, we've been seeing positive movement. I don't know what the hell the people are on, but the banks are getting bailed out and the market goes up. The Fed says we're going to do some more EQ. The markets go up. I mean, the most craziest things. I came out, told you guys that KB Homes, and there's so many other corporations just like them that have, for every dollar they make, they're indebted $5. What kind of business system is that? What kind of business model is that? Well, that is the same exact business system that Pinterest is on. That's the same business system that the banks are on, but the banks are on a whole different shit. They're on this shit where for every dollar they have, they lend out 10 times, 9 times, and if not more. They invest the savings of the everyday Americans into derivatives, laundering of money, and so on and so on. And they've been busted. Manipulation of metals, manipulation of so many different things, guys. And they've been busted on. Open fake accounts like Wells Fargo. And so we have a situation where the elites are just squeezing the shit out of what's left of middle class in America, because middle class started dying when we started exporting our jobs to overseas, like when GMC started building cars in Mexico and they started building cars in China, when Apple went to China to produce their X and Y products. That's when the whole Shazam happened, guys. And now we're mad at China. We're mad at China for them giving us, $5 products where you can go to Walmart or dollar store and you can see the shelves full. We're mad at them because they're providing that for us. How are you? Okay, we're mad at them because they're doing the manufacturing that we're not doing in America anymore. Why are we not doing it? Well, because we have too much regulations that make it unprofitable for big companies, definitely for small companies, small mom and pop companies to start a business, because they have to pay so much taxes, so much liability, so much this, so much that. And what that does is creates a vacuum for the big and the elites, the one percenters. Who are the one percenters? Well, the Apples, the Wells Fargos, the Bank of Americas, the GMs, the people we bailed out last crash are basically the elites. That said, there's a great opportunity upon us. In my opinion, it's not financial advice. It's my opinion. In all aspects, stocks will be at a major discounts like the last crash. Um, Businesses are going to be going belly up. The house market is going to be tore up. Okay, and that's just some things. People in the car business are going to do great because people are going to lose their homes or lose their jobs, and they're going to need to sell their cars. So buying cars from retail people is going to be great business. Buying gold is going to be great because gold's going up. Very soon you're going to hear everyone saying, we buy gold, we buy gold. And we're watching the stock market, guys, do what? Keep going negative. Okay, but again, I don't watch the stock market because I know it's rigged. Okay, the guys at top, they rig this shit, dude. They rig it. You know what I mean? And in all different dimensions, it's hard to pinpoint how they rig it. But the whole thing is to suck up the wealth of the middle class, the working class. Now, they make them look like they're rich on paper because they made so much in stocks, but are they really going to be able to keep it? Are they really going to monetize from it? Are they really going to actually go and be able to use that gains? Or is it going to be wiped out in the crash that we're already in, guys? Because if we're not in the crash, why is the Fed bailing out a day 120 billion? Not 1 day, not 2 days, not 3 days, not 9 days, not 20 days, not 50 days on. Okay. Why is the Fed doing that? And then why are they just coming out and about to do QE? Why are they printing more money? They're bailing out the banks on one hand. They're going to be bailing out, printing more money, helicopter more money on the other hand. And where does that leave the average worker? Well, that leaves them in poverty. That leaves them that their purchasing power decreases. That leaves them having 2 jobs, 3 jobs. That leaves them having, not spending time with his kids. And that's a shame. That's a shame because so many people are graduating college and they're thinking they're going to get a great job, and they don't know that in the first maybe 2 or 3 years of them being out of college, they may transfer jobs 2 or 3 times, because it's not like the old days where you work for one company and you retired and you got a gold watch. Now, it's a whole different story, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is not a doom and gloom. There's a lot of opportunity to be made, like I talked about. It's going to take a lot of balls, excuse my language. It's going to take a lot of courage to take a risk. The more risk, the more rewards. And we're about to go in a time where many of these fake investors, fake entrepreneurs, fake corporations, fake in the sense of they have growth because of debt ability, because they were able to borrow money, and they're fake because it's not organic growth. They don't have the X and the Y because they work long hours, or because they sacrifice, or because they had a better product or a gadget. And they got ahead because they knew how to work the system and get into debt. I know entrepreneurs that in the last crash they had bought a $400,000 home, and you're right. I mean, like, in the last economy was going good, and in the construction they were hurting a little bit, right? And now in this new positive area, they bought multi-million-dollar homes. But so they ride the economic ups, and it's not because some of it's their own work, but a lot of it is because they're able to just get into debt and buy more infrastructure and get more locations and get more labor. Or if they had to do it through creativity and imagination, there would be 1/10 of the growth they would have. Because, guys, it's the same thing if you go watch bodybuilding. Some guy that pumps himself with juice and steroids, they can get so big, right? But the guy that's natural, he's not getting as big as that. He's not getting the definitions, you know what I mean? But the question is, who's going to die from a heart attack? Who's going to die from high cholesterol? So if you're investing, you want to invest in the bodybuilder that's pumping himself with a bunch of juice and he's just like so crazy big and then he's going to drop and die? Or do you want to be having your money on that guy that's running, that's eating right? You know, he's really defined, he has muscle, he has tone, but he's just not artificially inseminated, you know what I mean? And so of course that athlete bodybuilder is going to have a lot more healthier life than the one that was artificially pumped in with debt. And that's the society we live in, man. You know, we live in the society of just debt. Debt is cool. People look around and say, oh, this guy drives this car, but they don't say, oh, this guy's in debt so much. So if they had a sticker tag on everything that were in debt, then the world would be different. Like I spoke to a gentleman in our in our community, and he said he just started out and he has like 3 properties and he's already got into debt so long, so many different ways. And I'm thinking to myself, man, what you gonna do when this crash starts melting faster? What are you gonna do, my friend? Because these houses that you just bought are gonna be upside down. You're gonna be significant in debt, and what's gonna happen is more than likely you're gonna have to do bankruptcy. I didn't tell him that. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but this is what people are teaching in these seminars: is to put it on your credit card, to put it on hard money lending, to reborrow against your home, to suck up all your money, your equity, to keep reborrowing, to keep getting into debt, to refinance out. I mean, I thought the whole name of the game was to have freedom, not to be in debt to your ass and eyeballs, right? But to each his own. I'm not giving financial advice, but for me, freedom is the play. Owned to banks and having a bunch of growth, they could kiss my ass and keep that shit themselves, because I'm not buying that shit. I've already went for that trick, had 3 businesses. I started with $100 debt free, and but the idea of constant conquering, constant accumulation, constant growth in a sense of artificial shit just didn't make me happy. It actually caused me cancer of unhappiness. So I realized that. Now imagine, and I was able to free myself because I didn't have any debt. I was able to free the chain of consumption, free the chain of propaganda, indoctrination, free the chain of what people thought was success is, because I thought it too, I believed it too, and free myself because I didn't have any debt. Now if I was indebted up the gazoo, like some of the investors that I know, some of the real entrepreneurs that I know, business owners that I know, then I would have to work that. You know, even though, you know, I might be indebted $10 million and I'm making a lot of money, but I'm indebted to the banks. Well, I couldn't quit if I was indebted, right? The reason I was able to give up all my stuff and just close down and give my stuff to the homeless, or most of my stuff to the homeless, is because I didn't know anyone, any debt. I was a free man. I could have kept going with my business. I could have sold my business. And I decided just, you know what, I don't want to deal with this shit. I've been robbed enough. The wool's been on top of my head enough. I dedicated myself. I started from college working every freaking day, having rental houses, having moving company, having a real estate brokerage firm, and you know, really sacrificed. Didn't go hang out with family, and what is it at the end of the day? And you know, I learned that society, the media, had fooled me, and thank God I had the ability and the freedom to say, you know what, I want to take this chains off of consumption and growth, because now that's why I only have 4 shirts, 4 pants, and you see me wearing the same shit every day. And because fuck the metrics, man. Basically, that's what this is coming out to, is in a sense, is that for me, I don't want to do what the media tells me to do. I don't want to do what my teachers told me to do. I don't want to do what Big Brother tells me to do.